the UPI and other transactions, IMPS, have to be charged. Is that
okay? But after that, a lot of things have come. Yesterday,
okay, sir?
what was the latest was the foreign exchange management overseas investments. Okay,
Yes, sir.
directions and the regulations 2022. Today they have put
Okay,
up
sir.
something on the American Express Bank has been allowed to onboard local customers, card customers. No, they have been prohibited for some time. After 18 months,
Okay, sir.
now they have been given the permission. They can go ahead with new customers. American Express for the data localization violation, they have been prohibited. Now they are open. They have been allowed.
Sir.
Yeah, Prashant, have you seen the budget?
Yes, sir.
Last year
But
there
it's been
was
quite
some
a time.
last year
Yes,
production linked incentive scheme.
yes, sir.
What is this production
PLI.
linked incentive? PLI, yeah.
So the scheme, I think, is an extension of the Make in India scheme,
Mm,
that will incentivize the product producers and the manufacturers
mm, mm,
proportionately to the output that they produce with certain
mm,
conditions, that once they satisfy certain conditions, sir.
mm. How much was the outlay? Budget 21-22.
Sir, I remember the capital expenditure to be 7.5 lakh crores, and I'm not sure about the revenue
No,
expenditure,
that
sir.
is a capital expenditure. This incentive, this
The
outlay
PLI
of
scheme, sir.
1.9, yeah, 1.97 lakh crore. That is
Okay, sir.
budget 2022. Okay, not the current one 22-23. It was earlier budget.
Sir.
Uh, what is our forex reserves? Any idea how much?
So it used to be around it has crossed $600 billion, but because of the market interventions that
Mm,
to
mm,
stabilize the rupee,
mm.
it is today, I think, at around 570, 560 or so, 560
Yeah,
billion
yeah.
dollars.
Around 570 US dollar. Okay, billion dollar, $570 billion of US dollars. Correct. External debt. Any idea? India's external debt.
So, in India's external debt, I'm not very sure about the exact numbers, sir.
Mhm. Yes, on some whatever the date
90,
available.
90,
Okay.
sir,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
you are right. Tell me.
90% of the debt actually comes from the domestic borrowing, sir. I think hardly
No,
less than 10%, 7% or so comes from the external debt, as far as I remember. So
no,
from the
no,
total
no.
public debts.
No, public debt. I'm not external debt. That was I mentioned. Not public debt. External debt is US dollar $593 billion.
Okay, sir.
This is September 2021. I'm talking from the economic survey.
Sir.
Economic survey also talks about some pre-packaged insolvency resolution process. Pre-packaged insolvency resolution package.
Sir, I'm
Resolution
not.
process. Any idea? Insolvency, you must be doing IBC code,
Yes,
no?
yes, sir.
Insolvency Bankruptcy Code of 2016, which has been
Yes, sir.
amended, okay, on April 4, 2021, to provide for a pre-packaged insolvency process for corporate MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises.
Sir.
That's fine. Prashant, now we'll come to RBI annual report. You have seen the balance sheet of RBI?
Sir, frankly, I didn't get in, go into the nitty-gritty, sir. I have next 10, 15 days as.
You are busy with your
Yeah.
CGL.
Yes, sir. Kind of.
Okay. No issue about that. But the balance sheet you have to go through. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This monetary policy committee was in session from 3rd to 5th of August.
Sir.
After that, the governor's statement was issued on the 5th itself. Okay, dated 5th
Sir.
August 2. What are the policy changes and the non-policy changes they have made in that? Governor's statement talks about.
So the 1 minute, sir. So the ratio was increased. The repo was
Not
increased
ratio,
by 40
repo
basis
rate.
points.
Okay, policy repo rate
Sir,
increased.
policy repo rate was increased by 40 basis points, as far as I remember.
50 basis
And
points.
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah. So 50 basis points.
Why
And
I say 50? Because 4.9 has become 5.4.
sir,
That's why you must be getting that confusion. 40 basis point, 5.4. No, it is
sir.
actually 50 basis. 4.9 has become 5.4. Okay, go ahead.
And I think the governor was pretty confident, but by the next quarter, Q3, Q1 of the next financial year, the inflation will be well within the 4 plus or minus 2 range.
Okay, but the entire period, the year 2022-23, what was the projection, the CPI inflation index?
I'm not well aware of it, sir.
6.7%. So the entire year it is going to be above the 6% threshold limit.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that is the policy change. Any change in the monetary policy stance?
Sir, there's definitely a change. I'm not really aware of the factual fact, sir. But
Okay. I think you have not seen that, okay, because you were
yes,
busy with the CGL thing. Okay, now you are free. When is the interview?
September 8th, sir.
September 8th. Oh, still you have got time, Prashant. I think yeah, concerted effort, and you have to concentrate on this. Do you have any other exam which comes up for?
No, sir. This is the only
That
one,
will
sir.
be directing, taking away your attention, etc. So this is the only
No, sir.
one. Now you will be concerned about it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here another 5 days, and the next month also some 7 days you have got. Okay, that makes
Sir.
around 12, more than 10 days. It is still is possible to do that. Okay.
Sure, sir. Yes,
We
sir.
will come back to that. How to go about it, we will see. We'll come to cash this money market and the capital market. Capital market is regulated by the SEBI, capital
Yes, sir.
market. Money market, who regulates this money market? What are the instruments in the money market?
So money market is primarily regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. The debt it consists of the debt market, which will include anything less than 1 year of maturity.
Okay,
So,
the instruments which are less than 1 year of maturity. Okay.
Sir.
Some of the instruments, can you name them?
Sir, even the treasury bills or
treasury bill,
any
all the 3 types of treasury bills: 91, 182, 364. Okay.
Yes.
What are those things issued by the corporates and the banks?
Sir, commercial papers and certificates of deposits, they are issued respectively.
Yes. CDs are issued by the banks and the CPs are issued by the corporates. Okay.
Yes.
Any other thing?
So government, corporates, and I think the primary under the banks.
We have covered all the 3: corporates, banks,
yes,
and the government. We have covered. Government has got one more security under this.
SDLs. SDLs, the state development loans.
No, that is state development loan, related security. That is issued by the state governments.
Yes, sir.
That will not come under the money market. No, that is all dated securities. Cash management bill. Have you heard about cash management bill? This is less than 91 days. Okay, this tenor is less than 91 days, and this is to take care of the mismatches in the receipts and payments of the government. Less than 91 days. Anything more than 90 days, the 91 days treasury bill can take care of. Even within this 90 days, also there are some problems faced by the reserve government. So they came with this cash management bills. Okay.
Okay.
And the cash management bill, it is all having the generic the identity of treasury bill. It is issued at discount rate and redeemed at par. Okay, that is the face value of that. Coming to RBI, there are some icons are there in the RBI website home page. If you open the www.rbi.org.in, what you see, there are some icons on the left side bottom. Any idea which are those icons, Mr. Prashant?
I'm not aware of it, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. You are not seeing that. Okay, one
Sir,
more question. Yeah,
yes, sir.
you ask.
Yeah.
Ask.
So
What
nothing
is that?
on the top we have the section of all the rates
Yeah,
to
current
the left.
rates. Yeah, current
Yes,
rates. They are called current rates. Okay.
current rate. And to the right we have the section of on the top we have notifications and all of the stuff, sir. But on the bottom
There are,
right that you're specifically mentioning, I'm not aware of it, sir.
no, that is the current rates on the right you have got on the top. Okay.
Sir.
Below that, there are 6 icons are there. Round, no? So you will see that. One is called the larger complaint. That is nothing but a banking ombudsman scheme.
Okay, sir.
Second one is money, an app, mobile enabled app for identifying the notes by the visually handicapped. Third one is RBI Kehta Hai. Fourth one is the
Okay, sir.
museum, no? RBI museum. Then fifth one is the fintech. You have to open those things. Okay, there are a lot of information. Sixth one is RBI Retail Direct. What is this
Okay, sir.
RBI Retail Direct? You must have heard about what is this RBI Retail Direct is about.
So when G6 are issued, apart from the auction, there is this provision that should be available to the retail investors through a non-auction mechanism, and RBI has facilitated it through this
Okay.
RBI Retail
Okay.
Direct.
Yeah, retail direct. So this is for the retail investors. Okay, they can
Sir.
directly open gilt securities account with the Reserve Bank,
Yes,
and
sir.
they can to buy and sell. They can buy the government securities either in the primary or in the on NDS or order matching. No, NDS OIM. That is a
Sir.
secondary market platform. They can also
Yes.
use that thing. There are some CRR, SLR. These are preempted liquidity ratios, cash reserve
Sir.
and liquidity. Under which provisions of the different acts, the CRR and SLR mandatory.
Sir, CRR is guided by the RBI Act, and SLR I think is guided by the Banking Regulations Act.
Correct. CRR is under RBI Act Section 42, and SLR is Section 24 of BR Act. Okay. RBI is the regulator and supervisor of commercial banks, Mr. Prashant. Under which provisions of the BR Act Reserve Bank gets this power, regulatory supervisory power?
Sir, I'm not aware of the number, sir. Section.
Section 35.
Sir.
Yeah. Prashant, you have to look into how many regulators do we have in the Indian financial sector?
Sir, I think 5 from
Your five is correct, but if you could name them, it is better.
Yes, sir. The Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, Provident Fund Regulatory Authority of India, IRDAI, and the Competition Commission of India.
Competition Commission of India is not the regulator.
Sir, the latest one being, it's been off late formed very recently.
Gift City.
I'm not remembering it, sir.
That is in Gift City, Gujarat, Ahmedabad, no?
Yes, sir.
It's called International Financial Services Center Authority.
IFSC.
IFSC. Earlier, even in the Financial Stability and Development Council, these 4 regulators were represented. After the creation of this IFSC, that particular regulator also taken into account as member of the FSDC. Okay, that is also important regulator, All India regulator. So they have been added as member of the Financial Stability and Development Council.
Yes, sir. FSDC.
Budget is something we'll talk about. Budget, okay. They talk about economic survey. We have asked, but in economic survey also you should look into those barbell strategy.
Yes, sir.
The safety nets, okay. During the pandemic time, there are umpteen number of safety nets programs initiated by Government of India, right from your ERP onwards and the NRLM. What is the new name of the NRLM? Any idea? RBI circular says about that.
I'm not aware of it, sir. National Rural Livelihood Mission.
DAY NRLM. Deen
Yes,
Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National
Yes,
Rural Livelihood Mission. So they talk about some 5 Panchasutra, no? 5 rules. Kindly look into that one. Prashant, 8th September is not very far off, but it is not very near also. You have got a 10 or 12 days more, okay? I think a lot
Sir.
of grounds need to be covered. Kindly look into the RBI website homepage. The homepage, whatever the current rates and the icons and the what's new, there is one item is there. Okay,
Sure,
what's
sir.
new? All the new things are being put on that. The recent one, the Amex Bank, American Express Bank, being allowed to take new customers on its card business. That is also there. It is today they have put it. So
Okay,
what's
sir.
new? And also the governor statements that June and August. Kindly look into those aspects. And budget, RBI balance sheet, annual report. If you could see the annual report, okay, forget about annual report is quite stale now. At least the RBI Act and the BR Act you have to look into besides budget. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Prashant, yeah, the CGL thing, it is already over now. That should be off your mind. And what should
Yes,
be
sir.
in your mind is only this RBI interview, grade B interview.
Yes.
Okay, till such time. Kindly read on the
Yes.
financial daily also. Good luck to you. Gopal sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good evening, Prashant.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So your interview is on 8th September, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not very far, not very close. You have enough time to brush up certain things which Raja sir was mentioning, especially the annual report of RBI to a certain extent possible, especially the balance sheet. Okay.
Sir.
The income of RBI, where does it come from? Where do you think the income of RBI comes from primarily? And what is the major head of expenditure?
So even through the sale of even when the currency foreign currency of the dollars are sold, there's a certain amount that the RBI gains. Similarly, I think through its market interventions, it's not purely a philanthropic activity, of course.
Yeah, once
So
upon a time, forex income was higher. Now, in the present day scenario, the market interventions and the domestic income of RBI is much higher because of its lending, etc., etc. Okay. Now, what do you think was the major expenditure of RBI?
Printing of the notes, sir.
Yeah, printing of notes, then subsequently agency commission which it pays. Okay, Prashant, let me ask you a very fundamental question which you are definitely likely to be asked. What are the major functions of RBI in the order of importance? You tell me.
Sir, in the order of importance, I believe first it's a banker to the government of India, and then a lender of last resort, banker of the bankers, and then maintaining the financial stability in the system of or the banking system, because the customer confidence will purely depend upon the functioning of the RBI. I think in the order of priority, I can say the first three will be these three, sir.
And Prashant, first and foremost function of RBI, which no other entity can do, which is that function? That is the first important function of RBI.
Banker to the banker, sir, or the printing of the notes?
Printing of the notes, printing and issuing notes is the first function. Nobody else can do. Only RBI can do that function. Okay, RBI has got the right as well as the obligation to be the note issuer for the government. Okay, that's the first function. Then you said something like banker to the government. What is that role? Banker to the government role.
Sir, when there is a temporary mismatch in the expenditure or issuing of the bonds on behalf of the government to the public.
That's the public debt management. Debt management. So when you say banker to the government, what would be that role? This is the public debt function of RBI.
Okay, sir.
These government securities on behalf of the government. Okay.
So issuing of the WMA and other mismatches in the temporary mismatches, sir, to meet the temporary mismatches.
Maintaining the accounts of the government. That's what you should say. When you say a banker to the government, maintaining government accounts. Okay. RBI once upon a time was maintaining all the accounts, but as the number of accounts grew, etc., it delegated these functions to certain other commercial banks.
Sir.
Okay, and it pays an agency commission for them. So maintaining the accounts of the government and accounting for them is the function of banker to the government. Okay, you said something like ways and means advances. Okay, for how many days can this be? Can it be given for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or is there a time limit?
Days.
Yeah,
90 days.
So sometimes the state governments, in addition to the ways and means advances, do also get some other facility from RBI. Can you
special ways and means advances, sir, by having a collateral of the government securities?
Okay, and also they are allowed certain overdraft facilities. Okay,
overdraft facilities, yes.
Overdraft facilities for a certain period of time that you have to see. Now, coming to the function of the debt manager, it issues government securities on behalf of the government of India. Okay.
So,
Okay. So there is you must have heard of the rate called as repo rate, reverse repo rate, etc., etc. What
yes, sir.
exactly is the function of the repo rate? What does RBI aim to achieve by increasing and decreasing the repo rate?
So it is a primary tool to control the money supply in the economy
Is it money supply
through the
or
banks.
through the price? Yes.
So,
Start controlling the money
yes,
supply. It is trying to increase or decrease the cost of credit, thereby
yes, sir.
dissuading people to consume more.
Yes, sir.
Controlling the money supply, increasing and decreasing happens through another mechanism called a CRR.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
if you increase or decrease it, automatically that much of liquidity is either sucked into RBI or pumped into the system. Okay, increasing or decreasing. That is what the function of this thing is. Coming to the RBI Act,
Sir.
how many deputy governors can RBI have? At present, how many does it have?
Sir, I'm not aware of it, sir. Sorry.
So, how many deputy governors that you're aware?
Sir, none.
There are 4 deputy governors, not more than 4 deputy governors as per the Act. 1 governor and not more than 4
deputy governors.
governors of RBI can have. Okay. Who was the first governor of RBI? Can you name the first governor of RBI?
Sir, I'm not prepared for it, sir.
See, since you are not a banking person, you'll be asked all these kind of general knowledge questions. Okay. Sir
Okay.
Osborne A. Smith was the first governor of RBI. Sir Osborne A. Smith. Okay. And the first Indian governor was Dr. C.D. Deshmukh.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these things you should know. Coming to this regulators, suppose these regulators don't agree on certain points, they start fighting with each other. It happened once. Some years back it happened. There was some kind of a turf war between all the regulators. So a body was created to see that these people peacefully resolve the issues amongst themselves. Which is that body?
FSDC, sir.
Yeah, Financial Stability Development Council. Okay. Yeah, it is chaired by whom?
Finance Minister himself, sir.
Finance Minister chairs the Financial Development Council. Okay, can RBI promote subsidiaries?
Yes, sir. I mean, it has subsidiaries.
Yeah.
In the form of.
Can you name a few of them?
Yes, sir. So one is the DICGC, and the other is the Bharatiya Reserve Bank Notmuthan Private Limited.
Yes.
And then we have National Housing Bank.
No, Housing Bank is not a subsidiary of RBI.
Sir.
Have
so
you heard of
NPCI is even NPCI is not a subsidiary. Sir.
No, not a subsidiary.
Yes.
Have you heard of this Indian Financial and Financial Technology and Allied Services, IFTAS?
Yes, sir. IFTA. Yes, sir. It is the technology of the RBI.
There is one more entity called as REBIT, REBIT.
Yes, sir.
Reserve Bank of India Information Technology. So these are some of the subsidiaries. Even IDRBT is in a sense a subsidiary of RBI because RBI's deputy governor chairs the IDRBT. Okay. Have you heard of IDRBT? It is in your backyard, Hyderabad. Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology, Masaf Tank.
Masaf Tank. Okay, sir.
Yes. So that is also in a sense a subsidiary of RBI only. Okay, you mentioned something about DICGC. What is this DICGC?
Sir, it provides insurance to the deposits in the banks up to a limit of 5 lakhs.
5 lakhs, yes.
With a small premium that is paid in the case of bank going bankrupt or insolvency, sir.
Can all the types of banks be covered by this insurance, or is it only the commercial banks which are covered?
Sir, I think it was recently extended to include certain banks, but I'm not really aware. I don't remember the exact extension. But
all
commercial banks,
all the banks where deposits are kept by the public are covered.
Okay.
So you say Reserve Bank, Raja sir also asked you. Reserve Bank is the regulator and supervisor under certain section 35 of the RBI and BR Act and all that. Why do you think Reserve Bank of India should regulate and supervise the banks? What do you think what do you think is the reason RBI is doing it?
Sir, primarily for the safety of the customer, sir. The borrower and the depositor must feel safe, must feel secure. And I feel it is just the way we have the Supreme Court in India. I feel this is a sense of security given to the depositors and
it's sense of security given to the depositors. Protection of the interest of the depositors is the primary objective of regulation and supervision. Okay, protection of the interest of the depositors. In the newspapers, you must have come across something like CRAR, 10%, 13%, 14%. What is the CRAR?
Sir, CRR, sir?
CRAR.
Sir, this is we are now referring to the provisioning that is made in the case of some risk assets, sir. So this is a capital adequacy ratio that is mandated to be a 9% by the Reserve Bank. Whenever a loan is given, depending upon the risk that the specific loan has, a weight has been assigned, and correspondingly, a certain provision of the quality tier 1 capital has to be kept aside, sir. That we dub it as CRAR.
Capital to risk-weighted assets. Capital to risk. What do you think are the three primary risks in banking?
So one is the credit risk, and the other is the market risk, and the interest risk, sir, but not.
It's a subset of market risk.
Yes, sir. Credit risk, market risk, and sir, compliance or not sure, sir.
Operational risk. Have you heard of this operational risk? Have you heard of operational risk?
Sir, operational risk, I believe, is related to the profitability of the banks.
No. Operational risk is the risk arising out of failure of people, process, and systems, and external events.
Okay, sir.
Okay, the risk that arises because of failure of people, failure of processes, failure of other systems, and certain external event is operational risk. Okay, and there is one more risk called liquidity risk. Have you heard of it?
Yes, sir.
What is that liquidity risk?
Sir, in the event of sudden withdrawal of the deposits or any other contingency purposes that we need immediate cash. So because the banks will hold G-Secs which cannot be liquidated overnight or immediately. So this ability of the banks to immediately convert long-term or medium-term assets into immediate short-term cash for the deposits.
So from the risk perspective, you answer inability of the bank to meet its liabilities on time, as and when they are due. This is the meaning. Inability of the bank to meet its liabilities or to repay its depositors as and when they are due. That is what is liquidity risk all about. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir.
Let me ask you something about development function of RBI. What is the developmental function which RBI plays?
Sir, development function is primarily, it deals with the lower section of the society, or it includes financial inclusion. It includes the priority sector lending. So
what do you mean by financial inclusion?
Financial inclusion is the ability of a remote, sir, a woman in a remote area to have a bank account and to have quality financial products at an affordable price within
access to financial products to all those people who demand at a reasonable cost. That's what it is. Access to financial services to all those people who are in need of it at an affordable cost.
Sir.
Okay, that is what is. You mentioned something about priority sector. What is this priority sector lending?
So priority sector lending is a compulsory provision that is mandated by the RBI for all the banks, especially the commercial banks who are primarily interested towards lending towards the big lenders, to lend specifically in certain areas in the economy which are development oriented, sir, like MSMEs, like agriculture. So like even the off late certain infrastructure or sectors are also included in the PSL.
Suppose a particular bank is unable to meet this priority sector lending, which is what percentage?
Sir, PSL percentage is 40%, sir. And
40%,
if it
40% of what?
40% of the net demand and time liabilities, and
No.
sorry,
It is
40% of the loan disbursal, sir.
adjusted net bank credit.
Adjusted
40% of the adjusted net bank credit. Okay, make a note of it. Net demand and time liabilities is for the purpose of CRR, maintenance of CRR. So this is prior to 40%. Suppose a bank is not able to meet this target of 40%. What can it do?
Sir, it has few options. One of it being depositing the amount into the RIDF, Rural Infrastructure Development Fund of the Nabard. And that is one of the primary things that is what I could remember, sir.
There is something called as priority sector lending certificates. All
Yes,
those
sir.
banks which have got surplus over and above 40%. That excess percentage over and above 40% is something which they can sell.
Sir.
Get converted into small lots and sell it. And the banks which need it will purchase it.
Sir.
Okay, so that is what
Yes.
the whole thing. That's what the whole thing is about. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard of fintech, Prashant?
Yes, sir.
What is that fintech? Because they are making news nowadays. What do
So
you
it is
understand?
using of technology in the delivery and taking the financial products into new areas, sir.
That is enabling financial services through technology. It's technology financial services. It's an acronym basically. Fintech, finance and technology, marrying of finance and technology. Okay.
Sir.
What do you understand by unicorn?
Sir, unicorn is a startup that has a valuation of more than 1 billion.
1 billion.
Sir, dollars.
Yeah.
$1 billion dollars, sir. Like we had the Byju's, that is presently India's most valued startup, most valued unicorn.
Yeah. Okay. So Prashant, fine, you've done well. You should be not finding it difficult. But only thing is you need to go through the annual report of RBI to a certain extent. There is balance sheet, income statement, etc., etc. The RBI Act and the Banking and Regulation Act. You must be thorough with these two acts because these are the primary acts based on which RBI does so many things. Okay. So these two acts you should thoroughly read up before going for the interview, and the general knowledge about the governors, deputy governors. Okay. And at least read 2-3 days financial. That is, your interview is 8 September. So 8 September. 8 September morning, you have to read 7th, 6th, and 5th September. Be thorough with the headline news of the financial papers. Okay, all the best, Prashant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.